Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bhed Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Gukarastvandakaro Vai Rukarastvanivartakaha Andhakara Nirodhitvat Gururitya Vidhiyate Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namah Shivaya. So, in the last class, we were finishing up Anuvaka number 6. And I believe that what we had done was the words Urvaryaya cha Khalyaya cha. Let me make sure. Yeah. Urvaryaya cha Khalyaya cha. So it's a very beautiful analogy given by Swami Maheshananji on this point. So Urvaryaya means that a place on earth where food can be grown. So for example, in the case of deserts, you cannot grow food there. There's nothing to sustain the birth of plants. But if you go to a place where the ground is available and you till it and you take good care of it, then Khalyaya cha means then the cultivated land can yield food. So here Swami Maheshananji gives such a beautiful example. He said, in that sense, human beings that have not studied what the end of our life should be. So this is the phalam. So the plant has to be grown where you cultivate it and it becomes useful to you in reaching what you are here for. And so in that sense, a person who has not inquired into sincerely what's going on, where am I going, what my life is all about, and you waste your time just the normal vyavahara, then that's like a desert where nothing grows. But if you are able to cultivate it with knowledge, with thinking, and through the proper leading of life consistent with the teaching, then the plants can grow. Beautiful. I thought this is a very nice analogy. So it's really up to us. And so the human being is like, in that sense, a complete earth that either you can leave it as uncultivated, uncultivatable, or you can try to do something. Anyway, so that's, again, I think I enjoy the Adhyatmika view of Swami Maheshananji. So anyway, take that for what that is. Then the next one is Shlokyaya cha avasanyaya cha. So shloka generally does not mean mantra. So shloka means some human, can be a human manufactured poetry. Mantra, on the other hand, it comes from Ishvara, and so the chanting of the mantras, mananat trayate iti mantra, means that just when you just chant it itself, it gives you a certain protection and certain moving forward. Just the chanting of it. Om Namah Shivaya. Like that. Just these are called mantras. But here the word shloka is meant in the form of a mantra. So this is really, so shloka here means the mantra. And avasanya means Upanishads. And the Upanishads are, of course, what is called the direct exposure to Ishvara. All the other Veda Pathas and so on and so forth are indirect approach to Ishvara. But Vedanta gives you sakshat, aparoksha knowledge of who you are, that the Parameshvara is nothing other than your own Chidatma. So that knowledge is only given by Upanishad. So shlokyaya cha avasanyaya cha means the shlokas used in the Upanishads. So mantras used in the Upanishads, my namaskara. There it is. This is what is called Aupanishadam Purusham. A Purusha which is born out of the knowledge of, because otherwise there is no other way to know. I miss it completely as to who I am, what's going on. But the Upanishads gives you a very clear enunciation. And so my namaskara to that way of doing it. Vanyaya cha kakshyaya cha. By the way, I think what I'm going to do is probably speed it up a little bit. And what that means is I may not explain every mantra given in Sri Rudram. I will probably comment on most of them, but not every one of them. Because we need to speed it up a little bit. It's just taking, I need to also finish this text and go on. And so I just want to give you that idea. Vanyaya cha kakshyaya cha. So vanam, the word vanam refers to vananiyam Shiva. Vananiyam means where the Shiva is appreciated through bhajans, through singing, and through music, and through praise. So this is called Vanyam, the one which. So what happens is Vanyam means one which gives you the result if you develop a love for Shiva. So this is what all bhakti is all about, and this is what raso vai saha. So the Vedanta should not be just dry and just looking at books and saying, okay, this is Atma, this is Anatma, okay, now I understand, okay, let's go to the next one. It is to really absorb the beauty of it by understanding the rasam of Shiva. So Vanyaya means if you resort to bhakti, to japa, this is one of the things that is really accented by Swami Akhandananda Ji's in the books that I've been reading in the last 2-3 weeks, that to bring out that rasa in yourself, you're not doing it for the sake of Ishvara. Ishvara doesn't need your praise. He is pretty happy as it is. But for you to become happy, you need to invoke the grace of Ishvara, which is Vananiyam Shivam. And so the one which is invoked in the Vanam is called Vanyam. So, Vanyaya cha, Kakshaya cha. And where do you do this? Kaksha means a very small place. Here Swami Dayanand Ji has taken the traditional view of Vanam, which means forest, and Kaksha means a kind of a small cluster, of trees or something like that. So here Swami Maheshanand Ji takes the word as Vanyaya, we've already explained. Kaksha means where? In your own heart. And so you don't have to really what you have to pay attention to. So this is what is called Dahara Vidya. It is given in Chandogya Upanishad in great detail. In the very cave of your heart, means the cave of your mind, just the focused part of it. This is where it is invoked. So this is called Kakshaya cha. Then Shravaya cha Pratishravaya cha. So here Shrava means to listen. Shruyate iti Shravaha. So this represents the very study of Vedanta, of Upanishads. So Shravanam. So this refers to Shravaya cha, because otherwise you cannot understand your own self. It is not something that is a visible thing that you can understand. Somebody has to reveal it in a manner that it makes sense. And so that is given in the Vedas. So Shrutaya cha, Shravaya cha, Pratishravaya cha. Pratishravaya cha here means where it is reverberated. It is repeated in the terms of so here also what are the two words I was thinking about? Anyway, that doesn't come to me at the moment, but what it means is that you have to repeat it so that it becomes part of your life. You have to talk about it. You have to think about it. You have to, there is a word called Baikhari. Swami Maheshananji uses this, and Swami Akhandanandaji also used. Baikhari means articulation. And so really this is what it is, that in the case of creation, what is unmanifest, which is the Atma, becomes manifest in the form of Anatma. And until the Anatma also becomes nothing but a manifestation of the Atma, until that understanding takes place, otherwise the Anatma stays separately from you, capturing your attention. But through this is what is called Vivarta Upadana Karanam. So what it means is that if you look at a golden ornament without the understanding of gold, it loses its luster. But if you understand the beauty of gold, even though it expresses itself in the ornaments, then you've got it. Then you appreciate it. So even as you are appreciating a given ornament, you also talk about the shine, the beauty, the color, which all comes from gold. So this is what it means. Pratishravaya means the one which is expressed. And so it becomes, the Anatma becomes part of the expression of the Atma. So Shravaya cha, Pratishravaya cha. Ashushenaya cha. Ashurathaya cha. Ashushenaya means a swift, here the traditional meaning is a swiftly moving army. Swiftly moving army. And very brave. Just on with it. So here the Adhyatmika view of Swami Maheshananji is, what can be faster than your grasping through your mind the Atma? The moment you put your attention to it, the moment you follow the instructions of the Vedanta, you're there. Can any army move faster than that? No. Because the mind, it's one of the fastest creations by Ishvara. All you have to do is to pay attention to something and it becomes visible to you in your mind. And so something like this, the teaching of the Vedanta with the right appreciation, how fast it is. And it doesn't require any, it conquers all your doubts right away by just thinking. That this is the meaning of the Ashushenaya. Similarly, the next one also, Shuraya Avabindate cha. So this is all part of the power of an army. And so the Vedanta Vichara, the thinking, the grasping, the appreciation is the fastest and the bravest and the most effective army that you can think of at your disposal. You have it. You just have to invoke it. So that's the meaning of these ones. Then the last one is interesting. Varmine cha, varuthine cha, bilmine cha, kavachine cha. All this. And so here, these are supposed to be the protective portions of a soldier. So it talks about helmets and kavacham. Kavacham means the outer, sometimes you just like bulletproof vests. And so this is what called kavacham. So varmine, varuthine, bilmine, kavachine. Kavacha itself is used. So these are all different aspects of the protective. So here one interesting thing pointed out by Swami Maheshananji is that all these portions that we talk about have dual functions. Dual functions. And you can look at it as one positive and one negative. The positive part is that it protects you from harm. Because that's exactly what these things are meant for. Helmets and caps and body armor and all of these kinds of things protect you from harm. The other aspect is that it hides the person behind them. Isn't it? These days it's so funny. People are walking around with masks because of COVID. The other day this exactly happened to me. I was at the grocery store. This must have been about 6, 7 months, 8 months ago, when COVID was really, everybody was wearing masks. Now, many of the people don't wear masks. Since I've had a COVID now, I think I don't wear masks very much because I've had it already, unless I might get it again. But at those days, everybody was wearing a mask. So I was at a grocery store and picking out some vegetables. My wife had said, get these vegetables because I was going someplace else. Normally, she does all the vegetable shopping, but I happened to be in an area. So he says, as long as you're there, please get these things. So I was there. All of a sudden, while I'm picking out some vegetables, I hear a voice saying, "Hello, Vijay." I look up and there's a person wearing a mask and I don't recognize him. So now it's very embarrassing because he has recognized me even though I was wearing a mask. He has somehow recognized me because of my bald head that he could tell. But I couldn't recognize him. But you know what? I just said, "Hello, how are you?" I was just inside. I'm just thinking, who is this guy? When he started talking, I could say, "Oh, this is Shyam." I had not seen him for a couple of years, so I don't see him that often, but he's a good friend of mine. I see him socially. It took me like a half a minute or so, and then everything was okay. So the mask hides a person. And imagine that you have all the protective gear with dark glasses and helmets and so on. Can you see the person? You cannot tell. You cannot tell who the person is. So similarly, a complete costumed person in a play also is positive because a person can look very, very elegant and beautiful and powerful and all of that, but who the person is behind, you do not tell. You cannot tell. You cannot tell. And so we can really spend a lot of time on this. Here, our body hides the Atma. The body is also a kind of like a protective gear because I have to make progress in my life. I have to reach, so to speak. There is no real reaching, but so to speak, I have to reach the Atma. So I have to make progress. So in that sense, it's a battle, it's a struggle. And so I need some protective gear to keep me going. But at the same time, while that is happening, that is the same thing which is hiding me, making me hide. And so this is the meaning of it, that with the right attitude, I can unveil the reality behind the protection. Beautiful. Then the last one on Anuvaka 6 is Shrutaya cha Shrutasenaya cha. So Shruta means Parameshwara because it is indicated in the Shruti. Shruti means one what is heard through just the words itself. Tattvamasi is Shrutam. And Shrutasenaya cha. This is a very beautiful thing. Shrutasenaya cha means that not only the main person, but the army behind that main person is called Shrutasena. So here, Shrutasena means I am the person. Yeah, no doubt about it, which is revealed in the Upanishad, Upanishadam Purusham. I am that person that is revealed. But all of my manifestations also reveal me. Like I am the drashta, I am the seer, I am the shrota. So there is no seeing without the consciousness. So this is exactly what we were saying earlier, that if you see the anatma separately from the atma, it becomes a covering. But if you see the anatma as nothing but the expression of the atma, same thing we were saying earlier, that if you look at now the ornament as shining gold, beauty. So there, all the things that I am, Shrota, Drashta, Manta, Vijnata, thinking, knowing, Gata, Vakta, talker. So this is the Sena of the Shrutam. What a beautiful thing. Absolutely marvelous. So we'll talk more about this, but so the method of appreciation of the Atma is by seeing the beauty of the Atma in its expressions. You know, Vedanta sometimes makes it kind of dry. Oh, this is all samsara, this is anatma, then you have to get away from it, and so on and so forth. You know, ultimately that is true. But to get there, you have to go through this beautiful srishti of Parameshwara, where really, this is what is called Vivarta Upadana Karanam. As you know, Vivarta Upadana Karanam means even when it changes, it doesn't change. And so the gold, even if it is an ornament, it remains as gold alone. It doesn't make any difference to it. So the ornamentation is, really speaking, literally speaking, an ornament is something which is the beauty of the gold. Ornament means beauty, ornamentation, beautification. So the ornaments by themselves indicate the beauty of the Upadana Karanam, which is gold. So similarly, if I start appreciating that in all my expressions, in all my life, all my experiences, all my transactions, I remain the same, this has to be slowly appreciated. As we were just talking about on the Tuesday night class, it's not something that has to happen suddenly. You have to slowly appreciating and absorbing that fact. This is the beauty of the creation of Ishvara. So this is what is meant by Shruta Senayacha. Okay, so with that, I end Anuvaka number 6. And we need to go on to Anuvaka number 7. So let me first chant it. Namo Dundubhyaya cha Hananyaya cha Namo Drishnave cha Pramrishaya cha Namo Dutaya cha Prahitaya cha Namo Nishangine che Shudimate cha Namastikshne Shave cha Yudine cha Namasvayudhaya cha Sudhanvane cha Namasrutyaya cha Pathyaya cha Namakartyaya cha Nipyaya cha Namasutyaya cha Sarasyaya cha Namo Nadyaya cha Vaishantaya cha Namakupyaya cha Vatyaya cha Namo Varshaya cha Namo Meghyaya cha Vidyutyaya cha Nama Idriyaya cha Tapyaya cha Namo Vatyaya cha Reshmiyaya cha Namo Vastavyaya cha Vastupaya cha. Okay. So in introducing verse number, in Anuvaka number 7, Swami Dayanandji points out very correctly that it is a continuation of both the Sarvatmakatvam and Sarvavyamikatvam. Both of them. It continues on from number 6. And he points out that really speaking, the Sarvatmakatvam means the presence, not the presence, the very reality of everything else is everything, not everything else. What am I saying? The reality of everything is Ishvara. I mean, they're all made up of Ishvara alone, Brahman alone, Shiva alone, Rudra alone, everything. Everything is made out of it. But unless you understand that how they function is also due to Ishvara, Sarvatmakatvam does not become a reality. So Sarva Antaryamitvam, I said Sarva Vyamitvam. Sarva Antaryamitvam goes along with Sarvatmakatvam. Both of them are complementary. Here Swami Dayananji gives a very beautiful ending to Anuvaka number 7, even though it is at the end of Anuvaka number 7, but I'll bring it up just to make this point. So he cites this Akhyayika. Akhyayika means a story at the end of Kenopanishad, which I think most of you know. So in the Kenopanishad, there is a story that there was a conflict, Sangharsha, between Suras and Asuras, Devatas and Asuras. And the Devatas won that battle and were really celebrating at the end of that. You know, you have a kind of like a party where you have, let's say your company had an IPO on the New York Stock Exchange and you are successful. You declared you became public, and then there is a party in the office. So similarly, there was a party going on between the Devatas, and they were all just congratulating each other. What a wonderful job! Those guys, they will never threaten us again. And we are the most strongest people, and so on. Thank goodness, thank goodness. Thank goodness means thanks for supporting us, Ishvara. That we were able to win. So, because they were very evolved Devatas, Ishvara thought this is an opportunity to make them take the next step. So, as you know very well, he appeared as a Daksha. Daksha means there's some kind of a very amazing vastu which people had never seen before. So they all looked at it and he says, hey, what is this? Have you seen this? So it was far away and shining. And so one by one they were asked to go and check what that is. So as you know, Vayu went there and said, who are you? So before he could ask him, Daksha asked him, who are you? So he says, don't you know, I am the wind god. I can move everything. You see all these hurricanes in Florida and so on. I am very powerful. I can flatten things. So he says, okay, really, I didn't know that you could do this. Okay, let me just give you this blade of grass and see if you can move this. And this blade of grass was not ordinary. This was Ishvara's blade of grass, which looked like a blade of grass but didn't move at all. And this Vayu tried to, and he came back and he says, hey, something funny going on. I couldn't tell who this Daksha is. Anyway, one by one, they all went there. And in the end, finally, Indra, the very king of gods, went there. And as a special interaction with Indra, the Daksha disappeared right in front of him. He was looking at it one moment, the next moment the Daksha is gone. He says, oh my God, this is something I cannot understand. I know a lot about the heavens and all that, but I've never seen anything like this. So he went to Uma, the dispenser of knowledge, and said, hey Devi, there's something funny going on. I don't understand who this Daksha is. Can you please teach me to it? So she said, you know who that is? That is an avatara of Ishvara himself, and the purpose of all this staging of this play, Nataka, was to tell you that you have limitations. Don't think of yourself as something that is self-sufficient. In fact, your victory over the Asuras was due to me, not due to you. I am the Antaryami for each one of you. If you had the power to fight, that was given to you by me, the Antaryami, and I am the Antaryami of everyone. So here Swami Dayanandaji points out, even if you look at, if I can extrapolate this, it is not sufficient. It is necessary but not sufficient for me to go around saying, Ishvara is everywhere. Ishvara is everywhere. That doesn't do much for me, because that is just talk. I think that if you, I'm not sure about the Western world, the US and Europe and so on and so forth, but I tell you, if you go to India and you go to any village and you ask somebody, where is Ishvara? Do you think Ishvara is in everything? And they'll say, yes, Ishvara is in everything. But even though this is a good step forward, first step forward, but it doesn't really give you any freedom. The freedom comes in only when a Vedantin, a Shishya, a student begins to see that Ishvara is not only in everything, but also how everybody behaves is due to Ishvara. This is where the real progress of the diminishing of your own ahankara takes place. You have to see that the whole thing is nothing but a play of Ishvara. Really speaking, a play of Ishvara. This is a very sophisticated play. And a play where the same person is acting as different things. So if a person comes to you for some help, it is Ishvara coming to you for help. If a person gives you some problems, it is Ishvara giving you the problem as the Antaryami. And so that attitude of not only verbally saying Ishvara is everywhere and so on, you don't really mean it. See, here's what happens. If you don't complete that picture, then you don't mean it. You just say, yeah, Ishvara is everywhere. I really think so. And then somebody says something bad to you, he says, this guy is, I ignore him. This is a conflict in your own understanding. You think Ishvara is everywhere, but this one is outside? No. The real understanding comes in is that as you transact, as you experience and so on, and you hit good points and bad points, you have a smile in your mind. You may not have a smile on your face, but there's a smile on your mind which says, oh my God, what a situation I've been put in. Really speaking, the manufacturing of the whole experience in your life is meticulously designed by Ishvara to make you see the reality. This is a very important point that Swami Dayanandji pointed out, that Sarvatmakatvam and Sarvayamitvam, Antaryamitvam, Sarva Antaryamitvam and Sarmatmakatvam are really two sides of the same coin, and you don't see the completeness of the coin until you see both parts of it. I think at this rate I'm not going to finish anything, so let me quickly go on. All right, so the first one is Dundubhyaya cha ahanyaya cha. So Dundubhyaya means the big sound. So what I would say is, if you look at the traditional meaning, then please read Swami Dayanandji's book, which is very nicely given in every one of them. And I would just make the Adhyatmika comment from Swami Maheshananji's book, Rudram, only when something strikes me. And again, I will not do that for every one of them, so let's go on. In the next 20 minutes, I want to just do as much as possible. So Dundubhyaya means the sound of the drum, and also the two sticks. So this is this is not the tabla but the dholak. So you can have the two sticks on the dholak. It makes a lot of loud sound. Okay, so here Swami Maheshananji points out that the big sound is indicative of, because that overwhelms you. If you listen to a big drum beat, like in a marriage or something, it just overpowers everything. Nothing else can be heard. So here he says, this is like pranava, omkara, and the two sticks are shravanam and mananam. And if you continue to beat this with shravanam and mananam, reading it again and again and understanding and thinking about it again and again, then the true meaning of pranava comes up to you. Just the way he discussed. Then next one is Dhrishnavecha Pramrishayacha. So Dhrishnavecha Pramishayacha means that this you have to take on the experiences of life head on. You cannot escape it, you should not escape it, you have to take it on with the full backing that the understanding of Ishvara, understanding of Paramatma, understanding of my own Jivatma is behind you. Exactly like the battle of Mahabharata, where Arjuna was not alone. He had Krishna backing him up. And so be brave and go ahead with it. And also Pramrishaya. Pramrishaya means one who is the strategist, one who thinks, here's how I'm going to do it. It's not foolhardily just going ahead with the battle, but you have to do it with some thought. So Pramrishaya cha. Okay. Then the next one is Dutaya cha, Prahitaya cha. So Duta here means a messenger. So when you go to the battle, you tell the enemy, I have a message from my king, and he understands the message and he conveys it. It's not like that you hand over an envelope and say you read it. The true Duta is the one who conveys what we are going to do. Here's our plan. And I just want to warn you that we are out to attack you. So this is what a Duta does. And Prahitaya means the one who has the goodness of the kingdom that he represents at heart. Prakarshena hitaya. Hita means something good. So Prahitaya cha means one who has whose mind and his commitment is to the kingdom that he represents. So here Swami Maheshananji says that is, and then he supports, doesn't say that himself. If you read his books, he supports it with all the Shruti Vakyas. He says the Duta in our life, the person who's carrying the message is the Guru. Is the direct Guru who is teaching you. Because the Guru says, here is what we are going to do. He understands the plan. He is well informed about what is going on. Because he's understood it, he's worked hard for it, and so on. And also is Prahita. He is really good, he's doing the right thing. He's got his mind at the right place. It's not fooling everyone, it's not bluffing, it's the right thing to do. And so both as a Duta and Prahitaya, Shiva in the form of the Guru is to be saluted. Dutaya cha Prahitaya cha. Then in the next one, Nishangina Cheshumate Tiksnave Ayudhine cha. These are also a repetition of the power of the ability that the army has. It's well equipped. So in that sense, the teaching of Vedanta is well equipped. It has all the arguments. Whatever doubts you have, whatever you want to fight with it, it can overcome your doubts. It is well equipped to do so. So that's what it really means. I won't go into the details of that. Then starts with Srutyaya cha Pathyaya cha Katyaya Nipyaya Sudhyaya Sarasyaya Nadyaya Vaishantaya Kupyaya Avatyaya Varshyaya Avashyaya, Meghyaya, Vidyutyaya, Idriyaya, Atapyaya. So all these are forms of water. Okay, so if you want, we can just quickly go through this Swami Dayanandaji's words. This is on his page. (166). Okay. So 166 says, so Srutyaya cha Pathyaya cha is are dry lands. So that's not part of that. That's simply the way forward. Starting with Katyaya cha Nipyaya cha. So let me just quickly explain each word, and then I will collectively tell you what it means. So Katyaya, I'm just reading Swami Dayanandaji's translation of the meaning of all these given on this page 166. Katyaya means the one who obtains in ponds. Ponds means completely isolated body of water. Nipyayacha, one who obtains in waterfalls. Then Sudhyayacha, so one who obtains in marshy land, wetland. Marshy land means very wet land. Again, water is the primary one. Sarasyayacha, one who obtains in a lake. My salutation. Then Nadhyayacha, the one who obtains in the flowing river. Vaishantayacha, one who is obtained in small tanks. My namaha. Kupyayacha, one who obtains in the well. Avatyayacha, to the one who obtains in the valley. Varshayacha, to the one who obtains in the rains. Avarshayacha, one who obtains in the absence of rains. Meghayacha, to the one who obtains in the clouds. Vidyutyayacha, the one who obtains in lightning. Idriyayacha, one who obtains in the autumn clouds. And Atapyayacha, the one who obtains in the sun. Okay, so all these up to this point. So here, Swami Maheshananji says, these are namaskara to those devatas that have what is called the upmurti. Upmurti means their form of waters. Form of water. So there is a significance to this which should be understood of this. Water is the one that purifies. Jalam is called pavitrikaranam. It's very obvious that if you want to really have dirt on your hands, you can wash it off. It becomes pure of the dirt. So the water is the primary Shuddhikaranam. It is and so this is why even when we go to the temple, Achamaniyam, and so the priest says, okay, wash your hand. And he also sprinkles water around the puja sthanam. So the water is the one which is, this is all an indication, a symbology for purification. So the Apmurti of Ishvara in different forms, rivers, ponds, etc., waterfalls, are simply indicative of the Apmurti of Ishvara. And what it really means is that a purification of everything around you, the purity of everything around you, including you, is necessary in order for you to become capable of understanding the Atma Vidya. And here all of the acharyas have really pointed this out. Even in the Western world, it says cleanliness is next to godliness. So true. So outward cleanliness is important. Inner cleanliness even is more important. And what is not inner cleanliness is emotional reactive thinking, which gives rise to anger, frustration, blaming things to yourself, others. Emotional reactions is called ashuddhi. It is dirt on your own mind. Swami Dayanand used to say that. He says, if you don't tend to the garden, the mental garden, then weeds grow. Weeds grow all over the place, and you have not really tended it. So if you see a very beautifully laid out garden, what it means is that as soon as the weeds start to grow, somebody has taken the effort to uproot it and only had the good flowers that you meant to be in the garden to grow. So a pure heart is the one that has worked towards inculcating the right emotional responses to situations, acceptance, forgiveness, patience. All these kinds of things are called inner purity. And so the jalam, the watery devatas are indicative of the purity. Then Swami Maheshananji gives a very good cover to all this. He says, do you know what? Shiva is Abhisheka Priya. Abhisheka Priya. So as you know very well, that if you have a Shiva Murti, as we do in our Sarasburg ashram, and really in all of the ashrams, because we worship Shiva, then every day we do an Abhisheka. where all the flowers and the ornaments and clothing, etc., is removed, and you pour water over it. And similarly, if you have a Shivalinga, you need to really pour water on it in order to. So the Shiva becomes very pleased when there is purity. It's not as though it needs the purity, but it says that it appreciates your becoming pure in order to reach Shiva. Beautiful, just absolutely wonderful. And Swami Maheshananji point out that all of these Katyaya cha, Vanyaya, etc., not Vanyaya, but other one, Varshyaya cha, are really a appreciation of the Upmurti of Ishvara, of Rudra. Beautiful. Then I think we will finish the verse number, Anuvaka number 7. And so the last two ones are Vastavyaya cha, Vastupaya cha. So here Swami Dayananji had given Vastavyaya cha means one which is a house, a real creation that protects you. A home, or house actually, just a house, doesn't have to be home. And Vastupayacha means the architecture of the home which is most conducive to you. So one is Vastu and the other one is Vastu. So Vastu is the actual ingredient and Vastu means the way it is put together. That's why people have to say this has to be facing east, this has to be, and everybody has an idea of how that should be done. The Asian people have their own, the Indian people have their own, the Christians have something else like that. So here what it means is not only the Vastu, which is a jiva, but even the way the jiva is put together. My namaskara to it. Vastavyaya cha, Vastupaya cha. So with that, I'm happy that we were able to go through the 7th Anuvaka, and we are done with it. And I'd like to just keep this rapid pace, and I need your understanding that I may not be able to spend enough time for each mantra, but gives you kind of like a general feeling for it so that we can complete it in a timely manner. So with that, I close the class. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hello Satish, hello Panna. You're both always there, and two other people have not they're not visible to it. It says 4 people watching now, but I don't know who the other 2 are. But in any case, all the best to you, and I will see you next week. Hari Om.